Welcome to Wellington Seafarer Centre. My name is Mary-Therese and I'm one of the port chaplains and ship visitors here at the centre. My journey into chaplaincy began about 5 or 6 years ago when my senior pastor came to me and told me that I had enough nominations to be an elder at the church. And I went away and I prayed about it and I discerned that God was saying to me, no, Mary-Therese, now's not the time for you to become an elder. And so one Thursday night, I sat down with a hot chocolate and I was very cheeky. I said to God, what do you want me to do if you don't want me to become an elder? And I expected to hear nothing. I expected to get a get out of jail free card. Instead, what I heard loudly and clearly was the word chaplaincy. And at that time, I really didn't know a lot about what chaplaincy was. In fact, I went through a real period of depression because when I learned more about chaplaincy, I was really worried that I wasn't going to be able to help people when they came to me for help. But I know that obedience leads to blessing, and so I sat down with God and said, God, if you want me to become a chaplain, I'm going to do it properly. And so I obtained my diploma in chaplaincy through Alpha Crucis College, which is based in Auckland. And I passed that with the grace and help of God. And as part of that diploma, I needed to do an internship of 100 hours. And through my husband, I was able to have a meeting with Lance, who is the regional director for Oceania for the Mission to Seafarers. And I did my internship here. And what I discovered was a real place where chaplaincy is needed. Seafarers go to sea for up to 9 months at a time. It is very hard work, and it's common for seafarers to feel lonely. It's common for them to miss out on family gatherings that we take for granted. They miss the Sunday lunch after church dinner. They miss their children's birthday parties. They miss their graduations. They miss their wedding anniversaries. The list goes on and on and on. And yet, every day, we use stuff that a seafarer has brought to New Zealand. If you've ever been to the warehouse or Kmart, all those items in those shops come by container from China. If you drive a car, it's highly likely that a crew member from a car carrier brought your car to New Zealand. If you put petrol in your car, it's highly likely that it was a crew from a tanker who brought your fuel to New Zealand. The list goes on and on and on. And because the supply chain never stops, none of us really know what seafarers really do. But I can tell you that seafarers are very special people. They need our practical support, they need our love, and most importantly, they need our prayers. And over the recent years, the Mission to Seafarers, both here and in London, has recognised that there's another group of people who need a bit more help, a bit more support, and that is female seafarers. Traditionally, seafaring has been a man's world, and I'm finding that for women who are wanting to get into that world, it's really, really hard for them. Can you imagine perhaps your 22-year-old granddaughter going to sea for the first time in a ship full of men where she's the only female? Let me tell you about Jasmine. Jasmine was 22 during her first contract, and Jasmine had the most awful contract. We know, because the research tells us, that women are more likely to be bullied when they're at sea. The research shows us that women are more likely to be sexually harassed at sea, and Jasmine knew exactly what that felt like. Fortunately, she was confident and brave enough to go back to sea, and her second contract, the one where I met her, was going much better for her, and it was absolutely fantastic. One of the ways in which we support seafarers here in New Zealand is we put together female care packages. And so my church, Newlands Baptist Church, has been amazing at helping me to do this. We've had several sewing bees where the women from my church have brought along material, and we've spent some really lovely mornings together putting together and making bags for these female seafarers. And the types of things we put in these bags are sun hats, beanies, Whittaker's chocolate, peanut butter, deodorant, hand cream, tissue, sanitary products. And we put these things into the packages because this is what female seafarers have told us that they really want in their packages. And I can assure you that every time we give one of these packages to a woman, she is overcome. And more than once, I've seen a female seafarer look into her package, pull out something and say, how did you know I needed this? I've just run out, whether that be lip balm, deodorant, whatever it may be. And we know for our female seafarers that one thing that they often need is sanitary products. Now, men don't have to worry about them at all, but for females, and we know that Asian women will only ever use sanitary pads, it's quite a bulky amount to pack at the start of your contract. And so seafaring women rely on shore leave to be able to go and get those products for themselves. And sometimes that shore leave is not always available. Sometimes you'll go into a port expecting that you'll get shore leave, and then you'll hear that the port state control wants to come in and do an inspection. So straight away, all shore leave is cancelled because of the inspection. Here at the Mission to Seafarers Wellington, we're really big on shore leave, and we want all our seafarers to be able to get away from their ships and spend time in our beautiful city. Because we know that when they have shore leave, we know that when they go back on the boat, they're both physically refreshed and mentally refreshed. And I really hope that the Canterbury woman who I'm talking to in this video will get behind the project that I'm managing on behalf of the Mission to Seafarers here in New Zealand. I would absolutely love for you to switch your brains on and to think, how could you really help with this project? I've got a whole lot of bags I'm happy to send down to you that can be filled. I can send you down beanies, I can send you down sun hats, I can send you down pairs of earrings that one of my colleagues' wife has made for the woman. And if you like, you can fill the bags and then you can take them over to the Littleton Seafarers Centre so that when their ships come in and women arrive, that they can spread the love and give those bags to those female seafarers. If you have any more questions, please ask Roberta. I'm happy to talk to anyone about this project, or I'm also happy for emails. I would just also ask that you pray regularly for these women. It is really, really hard. I work with a chief officer from China who's also a master in training, and every time she leaves her home, she's leaving behind her 9-year-old daughter. So I would really, really love your prayers for protection for these women, that they would get home safely, and that God would be with them when they are lonely or sad. The women tell me that they have to be twice as good as any male. And so I just ask that you pray for these women and that you would ask that God would bless them abundantly. Thank you.